Taguchi from Northern Arizona University.
Hi, Wayne.
Hello. All right. How's the weather? How's the weather in Northern Arizona? Is
Uh,
is is
today,
Northern Arizona University in Northern Arizona?
yes,
Okay.
we are like 6,000 feet altitude,
Oh
uh,
wow.
and we are in the monsoon season now,
Oh wow.
actually. I mean, we didn't have any rain this summer, and then monsoon came a couple of weeks ago, and we have this rain, cloudy kind of weather. And today is like 70s and
Oh wow.
chilly, but yeah.
Chilly. 70s is chilly.
Yeah, it's chilly.
I think based on the summer we've had here in Japan, 70s would be
Uh,
absolutely beautiful for most people in Japan right now.
uh, it's actually, yeah, it's nice. It's
Mm.
nice. I mean, we have a huge temperature difference, night and day.
Wow.
And at night, it goes down to like 40s or
Oh my God.
50s, but then during daytime, it goes up to 70s. And yeah, so, but different.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow, excellent. So, great. So let's get into this interview about you are coming to JALT 2025
Mhm.
as a plenary speaker, main stage plenary speaker. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, great, great, great. So first, so to start out, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your research expertise, your educational history, like what you're teaching now, etc.
Mhm. So I was born and grew up in Akita City, and
Woohoo, Akita.
where I met Dwayne many years ago. So and I was a high school teacher after I graduated from university. I majored in education.
Oh, okay.
I taught in a high school in Akita for 2 years, and then I went to US to get the MA in TESOL and came back to Japan, and I taught in Branch American University in Japan, in Akita. So that was the 1990s, 1995, around that time.
Hmm.
And then I got a scholarship, Fulbright scholarship. So
Oh, wow,
uh,
your Fulbright scholarship. Okay.
yeah, I went to Northern Arizona University, where I'm teaching now for my PhD degree. And I stayed here for 4 years, finished my PhD, and went back to Akita to teach at the Akita International University. So that was opening year of the university. And so I was there for 1 year. And then I got a job offer from Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. So I moved
Oh,
to
wow. Okay.
Pittsburgh, and I was in Pittsburgh for 15 years.
15
Uh,
years in Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Okay, wow. So you
teaching,
are you are a Pennsylvanian.
yeah, almost. So yeah, I was the modern language department teaching Japanese and SLA, second language acquisition, and working with students, graduate students and undergraduate students. And then 2019, people from the current program at Northern Arizona University, they asked me if I wanna come to NAU to teach in the applied linguistics program. So I moved here in 2020. So that's a year I started teaching here. And so I'm actually sitting in my old mentor's office now.
Wow.
When I was
Talk about full
yeah, I
circle.
know, I know. I was a student, and I used to come from that, door, knocking on the door.
Can you check my paper? What's going?
Yeah. So the stuff, yeah. So yeah, so that's a little bit of my background.
Wow, excellent. Excellent. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really full circle stuff happening there. Um
Mm-hmm.
uh so in your in your bio, just from our experience, also working together,
Mhm.
we were working, like you said, back in Akita. We had met, and in my budding research days,
Right,
as assistant
right.
checking tape scripts.
Yeah.
I always
Well,
I always
you
tell
can
people
yeah, a lot.
I know how to check tape scripts because of Taguchi Sensei. I know how to check tape scripts because of Taguchi Sensei. I know what norming is.
It was hard,
Yeah.
yeah. You know,
Um, but I say your claim to fame or some of that, but like you're known for pragmatics. How did you get into pragmatics?
so I think I started with this cross-cultural communication,
Mm-hmm.
and because pragmatics is really important for intercultural, cross-cultural communication, and because we have our own norms coming from our own culture, like so how I speak or how I behave,
Mm-hmm.
so that's rooted in my culture, growing up as a Japanese person and then moved to US and so that adapting to the norms of communication or how to do things with others. So that was a big kind of a transition. And to me, pragmatics is a critical competence people have to have in order to make that transition. So my interest was cross-cultural communication, cross-cultural pragmatics studies, how people show politeness, for example,
Mm-hmm.
similarly or differently between different cultures. So like in Japanese, we show politeness using certain speech styles or honorifics and
Mm-hmm.
those things. But also we have a certain manner we present to people when we try to be polite. And so that sort of appears in my English too in US when I
Mm-hmm.
communicate with people from this country, US. I tend to transfer my Japanese politeness and sometimes it doesn't work, right? Like,
Really?
yeah, people think I'm too indirect or, I don't really express things clearly and that kind of stuff. So I think that's maybe my interest in pragmatics is that how people communicate on everyday base and how they use linguistics resources to for interpersonal purposes. And so that's my interest in pragmatics.
Wow, that's great because that sounds very like that sounds very tangible, right? So things that we can actually
Mm.
say, like, oh, you say this or you say that. Like
Mhm.
everybody, I've been living in Japan for 23 years now or something
Yeah.
like that. And when I know the different like honorific things like that I'm supposed to
Mhm.
say or do,
Mhm.
but it's like in the moment you do still wonder like, oh, I'm talking to this person. Should I do
Right.
this or say that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you kind of defer to like, well, what's the most polite thing I can do right now? Because that will keep me safe. That will keep me safe, right?
Well, I
So,
think you are probably more Japanese than I am. I
arigato.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, okay, so moving. So yeah, that kind of leads into so your plenary talk. I'm looking at it right now. Uh, it says intercultural competence in language learning challenges and perspectives. Like, so what are you going to be so what are some main ideas that you want to get across in
Yeah.
this plenary talk?
The claim I want to make is that when you teach language, like teaching English or teaching Japanese, I think in the current era we need to incorporate intercultural learning as part of the language teaching.
Mm,
And so we have those theoretical models of intercultural competence, but those models often focus on intercultural traits, like those personality characteristics or qualities, which are important for intercultural communication. But they don't put much emphasis on the language aspect,
mm,
in my view. So, how to sort of develop linguistics competence and the intercultural competence together in a language classroom, I think that's an important agenda for language teachers in these days. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my main point, and I have some data I collected from Japanese students in EMI context and how their intercultural and linguistics competencies develop over time. And so that's the longitudinal data. And what kind of resources are available in the EMI context to develop their intercultural communicative competence. So using that data, I want to illustrate how to sort of promote these two competencies,
Mm-hmm.
linguistics and intercultural competencies together in a culturally diverse context such as EMI.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I never thought about like um, we teach the traits, but we don't teach the linguistic connection to the
Yeah,
traits.
yeah. Seems like those two are separated when
Mm.
we talk about the students' abilities, intercultural competence one side and language competence the other side, but how to sort of promote them together and how
Mm.
to assess
Oh, that
those.
was actually my next thing is just like, what would be the assessment measures for that? That'd be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, so the assessment measure I'm gonna talk about at the plenary is actually the task I developed. My
Oh, we
original.
don't want to give we don't want to give too much away. We got to let people
Okay.
come and see.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
and it also like has some relevance because I do pragmatics research.
Mm.
So some of them come from pragmatics related ideas, but I think we need to assess the students' intercultural communication abilities.
Mm.
So how to use language in intercultural settings
Mm.
when they are put into the intercultural settings and how they use language.
Mm.
And so the task I created is called intercultural conflict mediation task. So they are
Wow.
put into the situation that two people from other cultures are having difficulty in understanding each other, and how do you mediate such kind of a situation using the target language, in this case English.
Hmm.
So that's one example, and but I really think that assessment of intercultural competence so far has heavily grounded on the questionnaire and the survey
Hmm.
instrument
Yeah.
assessing the intercultural traits, and not so much assessment using performance-based
Mm.
tasks.
Yeah.
Actually looking at the students' language performance in intercultural setting. So I'm keen to learn more about those assessment. Maybe when I go to JALT and from the participants at the JALT conference.
Wow, that'd be great. Yeah, no, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, because people always talk about assessment, assessment, assessment. So how do we do these
Mm,
things? How do we actually show, you
mm-hmm,
know, improvement or
mm-hmm.
progression or something like that in
Right.
these things? So that's really
Yeah.
important. Wow,
Yeah.
great. Wow, looking forward to that. That
Yeah.
sounds really cool. Looking forward to that. So your workshop, as I'm looking here, teaching pragmatics, a case of Japanese speech style.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Right.
sounds a little bit different from your. So now you're getting
Yes.
more into the pragmatics and really getting into that.
Right. Yeah. So it's different from my plenary. But I was thinking about what could be like a workshop type kind of
Mm-hmm.
a thing. And so when I was at Carnegie Mellon for 15 years, I was a Japanese teacher. I was teaching elementary Japanese and
Mm-hmm.
advanced Japanese and the content level courses. And so often students have difficulty in using different speech forms or speech styles in a single conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So Japanese language have plain form, datai, and decimus form, and
Mm-hmm.
honorifics, right? And but the classroom basically focus on decimus. And
Yeah.
so in the conversation practice and everything. And the textbook also focus on desumasu. So students are introduced to casual form, informal form, like that
Hmm.
idea. But they can't quite use it unless they go study abroad and exposed to people using those
Yes,
that I
definitely. No,
yeah.
I was a desmas and I came to Japan and everybody thought
Uh,
all these students were asking me like, why do you speak like that?
yeah.
So I was telling
Yeah, that's what you learned from
it's
textbook,
like
right?
that's
Yeah.
that's that's what I learned. And my
Right, yeah.
sensei my sensei even said, you're probably gonna sound a little too formal, but just go with it. I was just like, okay.
Right, yeah. And but those speech forms really like yeah, so those speech forms are like a tools to present your identity, right? So that
Mm,
also shows how people perceive you. So if you keep using desumasu, even among casual like friends,
mm.
they perceive you as somebody very polite, overly polite, or
Wow, I
for
gotta stop. I gotta stop using that. I'm not.
no. But that also affects people's perceptions of you,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's important that students are exposed to options in terms of what kind of speech forms, what speech style we have in Japanese. And also more importantly, when to use which
Mm,
form. So it's not just, okay, so you are foreigner studying Japanese, so stick to desumasu because it's the safe form, right?
mm.
You can't go wrong. You might appear kind of too formal, but nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I think it's important that the students know the functions and the meanings and the use of these forms, and also how those forms occur together in the same conversation. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
these speakers never use one form throughout, right, in a conversation.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we might
Yeah.
start with desumasu, but then we switch to, casual form, and so switch back to desumasu, and so those style shifting happens all the time, which students studying in a classroom they are not so familiar with those style shifting, and
Mm,
so that's been my research interest as part of pragmatics. But also I've been thinking how to really what is a good way to teach those speech styles
mm.
and also style shifting in the classroom. So my workshop is basically so I will start with a brief explanation of what is a pragmatic competence these days and how Japanese speech style fits according to the definition of pragmatic competence. And then I will use some interview excerpts collected from American students studying in Japan in a study abroad context.
Mm-hmm.
And their experience with speech forms and speech styles and confusion they experience coming from classroom in the immersion setting in Japan. And often they wonder which form to use in what context. And often those textbook rules don't really fit in the real life situations, so they don't know
Mm.
what to do. So we're going to discuss some of those interview excerpts, and then we will think about how best to teach speech styles in a classroom for people studying Japanese as a second language.
Wow, that sounds great. If I'm not running around someplace with my head cut off like a chicken, I will hope to this sounds like very useful from my current situation from my lifestyle. Very, very, very useful. Very, very
Wow,
useful.
you probably mastered already.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's
Natural.
a whole different well, like you said, going from the book and then going into the real world is a whole different thing.
Uh,
And
uh,
yeah, part of it is just vocabulary knowledge use and then just repetition. But also, like you're saying, like using things in the same conversation, you kind of get into a flow
right.
and you're kind of using the same form, same form, same form, same form,
Mm-hmm.
same form, or sometimes you're using these because we teach a lot of young people, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Mm-hmm.
picking things up from them
Mm-hmm.
in all these kind of shortened forms.
Yeah, short form.
And you're saying all these shortened forms and these abbreviated words. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you're trying to connect with your students. So you do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then you realize that, oh, I'm also slipping that into conversation with the Gakamuka, you know, people, or you
Yeah,
know, I want
yeah,
to, oh, I'm kind of rushing and I have to give this shome show to somebody and I have to say
right.
this and
Yeah.
you kind of shorten it and you're like they kind of look at you like
Uh,
it's like no, I'm not trying to be impolite. But I was just in a class and so things kind of roll into each other. It's
right.
really interesting that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's really difficult to make that decision in split second, right? And
Yeah, because I guess as a like foreign language user, second language,
mhm,
it's still cognitive. You're
mhm,
still thinking about the
right.
switch
Yeah.
and about what you want to say. And
Hmm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like you're running alongside each other saying,
Right.
say this, no,
Yeah.
say that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, oh, that's really interesting. Really interesting. No, those are some great topics. It's great topics.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure people will I'm sure the attendees will definitely enjoy that. Um And speaking of attendees and things like that, you'll also obviously be a quote unquote attendee. You're our VIP
Mhm.
attendee. But what are some things you're looking forward to? This is JALT coming back to Tokyo, and it's our JALT's 50th, as an organization, this is our 50th anniversary. So JALT's been around for
Mm,
50 years. So you're on the
mhm,
big stage for JALT's 50th birthday.
mm.
What are you
Yeah,
looking forward to?
really. Yeah. So, this is my one of the very rare opportunities for me to attend the Japanese conference. Because after I left Akita 20 years ago, I mean, I come back to Akita every year to meet my parents, and I also have a connection with people in Japanese academia. But the big conference like that, I don't remember last time I attended a
Oh,
JOLT or
wow.
JASET or those conferences. So my most interested to be to learn what's going on in Japan in terms of language education. What other topics people talk about or what they present. So knowing about the current situation of language education in Japan, I think that's my primary interest. And so I look forward to looking at the conference, the topics, the titles of those
Mhm.
presentations. And I'm looking forward to hearing what other plenary speakers or other invited featured speakers have to say at this conference. So I feel I'm kind of an outsider, although I'm Japanese. When things to come to academia or language education and the things, I think um, my knowledge or experience as a language teacher in Japan is like long time ago. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to learning what's going on in Japan
Yeah,
currently.
well, like you said, we have some learning from the other speakers. I mean, as
Mm-hmm.
far as the other plenary speakers, I mean, we have some really good plenary speakers coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are going to be talking about, yeah, actually assessment. Some people will be talking
Mm-hmm.
about assessment, and we actually have one speaker who is uh, from the Yokohama school system.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like a
Oh, okay.
principal in the system. So
Oh,
he's an
wow, okay.
actual he's an on the ground
Mm-hmm.
educator, and
Wow, okay.
he'll be giving his talk in Japanese, which will be great because
Mm-hmm.
we very rarely have that kind of experience,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and also especially that he's an actual board of education kind of he's in the system kind of person, so he'll be
Right.
giving
Yeah.
his perspective and aspects about
Yeah.
that, which will be great. So there'll be a lot of a lot to learn. It'll be great.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. And any other yeah, you say you come back to Japan once a year, visit your parents. Anything else you'll be doing while you're here, or is it just conference? Come to the
Uh,
conference and then back? Are
most
you going to be able to visit your parents while you're here, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna visit my parents for a few days after the conference. But unfortunately, this is the middle of the semester.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's before Thanksgiving holiday. Uh,
Ah, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yeah.
so I have to go back, and I'm teaching MA class this semester, and I can't miss so many class days. So it's gonna be short visit,
Okay.
but short but the quality visit, I hope.
Oh, great, great, great. And then when you get back, you can prepare a turkey for your students.
Yeah.
If you're
I
a
never,
foreigner, American foreigner, you'll understand that joke because
well,
Thanksgiving is
yeah.
all about the turkey. That's
I never cooked the turkey myself, so
real.
I usually go to people's place.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
it's too
say
messy if I do. Yeah, the
15,
part is
15 years in Pennsylvania. They're wild in Pennsylvania. They just kind of roam around.
yeah. I mean, it's just like too wild, I guess.
To but to close things off, anything else you want to say to our JOLT community out there and participants?
I'm so excited about seeing you, and I hope to talk to as many people I can during the conference, and hopefully the connection we established this time can continue after JOLT,
Wow,
and
great, excellent.
it's my word.
Yeah, yeah,
Looking
great, great,
forward to
great.
seeing everyone. Yeah.
Well, we have a very busy schedule for you, so don't worry. You'll get to talk to a lot of people.
Right.
So, as a plenary speaker, you'll have quite the schedule, and people will be interviewing you and talking to you and all great stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be wonderful. You'll get your picture taken a lot. So bring
Okay.
bring your best scarves.
All right. Yeah, I will.
Um, okay. Well, thank
Okay,
you
well,
so
thank
much.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, thank
thank
you so
you.
much for taking your time, and we'll see you in Tokyo for JALT 2025.
Yeah, I will see
Okay.
you soon. And bye, everyone, and see you very soon.
I could let this pass.